Oh, hello, 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 as we get going live here, my friends. Yes, I'm scrolling on my phone to see. Oh, is it working? Is it working? We are broadcasting via StreamYard. So if you can hear me, go ahead and I think in order for me to see I'll try to monitor both comments here in StreamYard and comments on the Facebooks. So if you can see us, yep, we got to. Hi, if you're here, definitely say hello. It's always nice playing to an audience. I often joke that Karen, do you know this? I think we talked about trumpet playing. I used to be a trumpet player, I used to play in these
Yes.
big bands,
Yep.
and how like sometimes again big band music sometimes would be not the most popular thing, and we'd have like three people in the audience. However, when those three people were engaged, it having an audience makes such more energy. So if you are here and joining us as people start to join and listen to the brilliant Karen Cosmo, go ahead and say hello that you are here with us. I can't see us in the group. However, it says that we are doing things, so I will trust that. Thank you very much, folks. As I get, oh, I know why. 1 second. There we go. Awesome. Great. Well, up comments, here we go. Oh, excited to be here. And hi,
Yay.
Karen.
Hi.
Oh, fabuloso. Okay, well, let us get us kicked off. I know for those of you who are fortunate enough to know Karen as I am, she needs like no introduction. However, let me let me give you the official bio. So for those of you who might be meeting Karen for the first time, you get this beautiful full spectrum view of this amazing, wonderfully powerful, talented woman. So the only thing that bums, well, first of all, Karen Caso is a email marketing strategist, and that is why we're here. We're here to talk about the email marketing strategy of why you need an email welcome series for your business. And in terms of her background and bio, the only thing that bums Karen out more than seeing good businesses throw away money on marketing experts who don't know their elbows from their ellipses, it's seeing brands miss the opportunity to create deep, lasting, and profitable relationships with their audience via email marketing. Her goal is to help kick-ass brands harness the power of email marketing to bump up their tax bracket, connect deeply with their ideal audience, and create an army of loyal fans. So as you guys can tell, obviously we connect on that at a wonderfully deep level. So
Yep.
Karen, welcome.
Thank you. So excited to be here with everybody today. I love having the opportunity to get all deep and nerdy on email marketing, and my husband and children are sick of listening to it. So
Well, yeah, you're definitely speaking to the in terms of my audience, the business geek crowd. So they will completely understand that. And I guess I'll just dive right into it and ask, so why is email marketing important? Like, why is it important in general? Why is this still a thing in an age of social media and 1,000 social media platforms?
the biggest thing is that you own your email list. And I want to repeat that. You own it. It is an asset. It has value. It doesn't matter if Uncle Zuckerberg gets a bug up his butt and changes the algorithm, right? It doesn't matter if TikTok gets eliminated, if we're no longer able to access that technology and that platform. It is a way you can communicate deeply and effectually with your audience anytime you want, right? And it's a very
Yeah.
intimate connection, which, how intimate is email marketing? Well, how does it feel when you get a personal email from a friend or a relative, right? You're inviting people into your space. That type of connection lands a lot differently than just seeing an ad on a billboard or in a magazine. So you own it, and it's very powerful.
And we're here to talk about that Welcome Nurture series. So in terms of an email list, if you need help with it, Karen and I talked about whether or not we talk about this, but if you haven't cultivated an email list, if you don't know where to start, like reach out to me, connect with me. And this wasn't part of it, but just like, it's just so important that like connect with me here, like book a time, let's talk, let me get you on the right path. Because in terms of my goal and Karen's goal, in terms of having and helping women and entrepreneurs and small business owners all over the place just grow their businesses and reach their financial goals, an email list is crucial. So if you don't know how to do this, like talk to me, and then I'm going to send you right to Karen.
Yep.
So So I have to do the plug for the email list for those people who may not have had this fully pulled together yet. So in terms of email marketing, like how was someone to get started with email marketing?
Well, there's a million different platforms you can use, and almost all of them have a free option, which can be a really great place to get started. However, I very, very strongly suggest that unless you consider yourself a micro business, so you've no longer made the distinction of I'm doing something really kind of small on the side. Maybe
Yeah.
it's, a craft business that you're morphing into something a little bit more full time. The first investment you make in your business, the first big money you spend should be to sign up for a paid email service platform. My suggestion is ConvertKit. It's
Okay.
$108 for the whole year, up
Oh,
to,
wow.
I know, and I want to say that's up to like 1,000 subscribers. So it's really going to get you through the first stage of growth for your email
Mhm.
list. Um, it's $108, and that enables you to send automated email messages, what are what we're going to talk about today. Because with an automated email welcome series, which is a mouthful, you are going to be able to establish a really close relationship with your audience. You're going to be able to share with them the important information that you want them to know about you and your brand. You're going to be able to deliver on your promise, right? Because whenever we sign up for an email list, you're getting some kind of freebie, right? It's
Yeah,
either 10% off your order, or you're getting a helpful checklist, or you're getting access to a private podcast, or a quick video training, or an ebook. Jillions of different things you can use for a lead magnet to get that information, that vital information, that email address from your subscribers. And that's just where it starts, right? So
yeah.
you're able to, for $108 a year, build
Perfect.
a really strong connection and relationship with them that I am guaranteeing you, if you do it the right way, you will earn way more than $108. And you don't actually even need a website, right? ConvertKit and I think most other email service providers also offer you the ability to create landing pages. So that would be
Yeah,
just a page on the internet you can go to sign up for your email list, and makes it really easy to do. Just start building that audience. And like we said before, once you've got them on your email list, then you have their information, you have that connection, you have that ability to create, strengthen, and deepen the relationship with them.
absolutely. So in other words, the tools are no longer a hindrance for doing this the right way, and make sure you're doing it the legal way.
Yeah.
So now that we've kind of covered those basics of email, and do you know the latest data on return in terms of ROI for email for marketing dollars?
Oh my gosh, the last time I looked at that, it was ridiculous. It was like at least a 400% ROI. It's really significant. And don't quote me, I may be wrong, but it's
I should have grabbed the
significant.
data. It's
Yep.
in terms of like the dollars that you put into email marketing in terms of them coming back. You can't beat the return as far as all the marketing data that's out there right now. So you set up the landing page. People are opting in. Now they got their freebie, and then what? That's it, right, Karen? That stops. That's where it should stop, right?
Well, it's not where it should stop, but it's where a lot of people stop.
Yeah,
And this is the other thing. If you do email marketing right, your competitors most likely aren't, right? They're not starting with an automated sequence. They aren't
yeah.
paying for the service or trying to skate through on having the free platform as long as they can, which means they can't send automated emails. So maybe there's the first email that goes out that delivers the lead magnet. And that's great. That's better than nothing, right? Because
Yeah,
there's few things
absolutely.
there's few
Start
things
start
worse.
where you're at. Yes.
There's few things worse than signing up for an email list, not getting the freebie, not getting an email, and then being like, what the fudge, right? Because one, I wanted your freebie. Two, where did my email go? And three,
Yeah.
like, what kind of business are you running, right?
Yep.
So it
Trust
just really,
broken, no go.
yeah, that's the other thing about email marketing is it's all about building up that know, like, trust. And I add the all important fourth element, which is enjoy. You want your audience to enjoy the emails you send, but we'll get there, right?
That's an
Um,
excellent point.
yeah, and people forget you want them to enjoy what you send. You want it to be fun, educational, entertaining. And there's a way to do email marketing so that you do all those things and still make a boatload of money. And not as hard as it sounds, and that email welcome series is where it starts.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the folks that I work with, especially if they're just starting out and haven't invested in working with someone like you, or they're not like I don't know, like me, and just obsessively like learn and want to read about these things. I'm like, ooh, what is the best formula? It's basically that we can get to the point where like I know how to deliver the freebie, but then it's like what is in that, what should be in the welcome series. And I know we're going to talk about, how to construct that, because I think that's where a lot, it's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. So just like in a buying decision, I don't know what to do. So you know what, I'll come back to this later.
Yeah,
And then later it gets, buried under 1,000 other things you have to do as a business owner. So what should be to get folks like what should be in that welcome series?
sure. Well, you've got the link to share. My freebie is I offer
Yes.
you the 7 steps, the 7 things your email welcome series needs. And it's literally, I suggest a 7 email welcome series to start. That's the ideal. And it just walks you through the 7 emails and what to include in each. So, without going too deep into that here,
Hmm.
um, you want to start. Email number one is going to introduce you to introduce your brand to the new subscriber. It's going to deliver that lead magnet. It's going to deliver on the promise you made
Yeah.
to start building that relationship. From there, we go into things like you're going to show them why the competition isn't the best choice, right? Why they should choose you. You'll talk about your unique mechanism, what makes your business different than the competition, and why
Yeah.
you are the obvious choice. I like to include a lot of stories that tell and sell about what your brand is, what you stand for, how you help people. It's also really powerful to say what you're against, because a huge part of building a successful relationship and a successful brand is letting people know they're in the right group, right? You
Yeah.
want to be with people that are like you. It, for right or for wrong, for good or for worse, and certainly staying in our little silos is challenging today for a lot of reasons, but people want to be part of a community. They want to have that connection with you. And that's what the whole email welcome series does. One of the most important things, though, is that while it's building that connection and building that community, you're selling, right? Because
Yeah.
one of the biggest mistakes I see people not, or biggest mistakes I see people making is they don't sell in their email welcome series, right? They say, well, I'm just trying to let them know about my brand and what I do and who I am. And that's great. And it's wonderful. And you should, but you also need to be selling to them. Let them know what you're offering. uh, One of the biggest obstacles I've had people express to me is, well, I just want to get them comfortable. I want to just welcome them to the list. And
Yeah.
that's great. And you should. But if you have a solution to their problem, if you have a course or you offer coaching or you have a digital product that is going to solve a problem they had, if you care about them, why would you make them wait until you're through with the email welcome series? So it's just about having the call to action in every email, offering them solutions to their problems, and building that relationship.
Yeah. Perfectly said. And in the story of course, Donald Miller of Story
Yeah.
Brand fame, who I just wonderfully got a chance to meet in Nashville last month, and be part of their Business Made Simple, their coaching program. And I love the example because I love, again, just like stories. It's how we understand. But he has this great example of in terms of being afraid to sell and being afraid to ask for that sale. Of course, you don't do it. You don't hammer people with it because that
No.
turns everybody off. However, he talked about if you go to the department store and you want to buy something, and you go to when you want to go you buy it. It's like you want to go buy this at the cashier, and you're hunting around for the cashier, and they because they're afraid to offend you and they don't want to be sound pushy, they put the cashier in the bathroom, and that's the first floor bathroom in the back because I didn't want to seem too pushy versus like I want to buy this, but I don't know where to go and do this. And of
Yeah.
course, then you lose that. So in terms of finding that balance of of course, none of us, at least people in my audience, you're not going to be, no one's pushy, but in terms of coaxing a little bit, like just make it accessible, make it easy,
Make it
you know,
easy.
make it easy.
Hmm.
So I wanted to interjecting that story there. So in terms of is there anything else you want to say in terms of before we move on to another topic of what should be in that, of what components should be in that, other than get your freebie? So in which I will post no matter which platform you are watching this on, I will post Karen's freebie in the comment. I will be freebie in the comments. And can they get it from your website too?
Yeah, if you just go to karencasso.com and scroll down, it'll be right there. And I, unfor I will be honest and say I'm not the best when it comes to web design. So I'm still working on ironing out some kinks on my website. I just did a huge refresh about a month ago, no, 2 months ago now, and I've got to update some addresses for my landing pages. So it's currently not optimized, but I'm working on it.
It's we can't. It's
Can't do
technology and all of the
everything.
things. You can't be an expert in like everything these days. So go ahead. So I just wanted to mention that because we mentioned a whole bunch of things, and of course people are frantic, like what was that? So go and just get it and just get the list and just do it. So now that we talked about like what should be there, what shouldn't be there?
Oh gosh.
What should we avoid doing?
What should you avoid? The One of the biggest mistakes I see is people don't time their automated sequences appropriately. And
Oh,
what I
that is
mean,
a good point.
it is, and a lot of email, and I don't know why they do this, but a lot of email service platforms have very odd ideas about when you should be sending your emails. So most of them that I'm aware of, even ConvertKit, they default to sending the first email a day after somebody subscribes. You want to go back in there and make sure you're changing it to 0 days. It will send it immediately. And
Oh
from
yeah.
there, from there, your 7 email welcome series shouldn't take any longer than 2 weeks to deliver. It shouldn't be something they have to wait a long time for. You want that initial experience with you to be one of passion is the word that comes to mind, but I don't know that that's appropriate. You want it to be, but you do kind of want it to be passionate. You want it to be connecting. You want to have these emotions. You want to be taking them on this journey with you where you're showing them that you are the solution to their problems, you and your products and services. And the longer you drag that out, the less likely it is that they're going to equate you and the solution that you're offering to their need, right? So don't be emailing them 5 times a day, right? But 0, so they subscribe, it goes out that day. And then the next day you send one, and then the next day you send one, and then maybe you wait 2 days and then you send one. So should never be more than 10 to 14 days until that whole 7 email welcome series gets delivered.
That makes sense. I've also heard that in terms of, especially if you have a smaller price point
Yes.
purchase, to make sure have that come a little bit more rapidly versus maybe something that is a longer term like thought cycle type of thing. You can get away with something being a little bit longer, but with yeah, because if you sign up for something, you're expecting to hear from you versus that, giant. I equate everything in marketing to dating, Karen. Now I'm like yelling in my
Ooh.
house. I'm getting passionate, get passionate in terms of dating. It's like, so you had a great first date, like, oh, you went out for dinner or coffee or whatever, and you get like a little, maybe you get a text that night, like, oh, I had a great time, and then like nothing.
That's so accurate. I'm like, ooh, I'm having flashbacks, and I've been married for a very long time. But I went on some doozies of dates, let me tell you. But that's exactly what it is, right? The thing that's popping to mind is the anti-Semitic music teacher I went out on a date with for Match.com in like 2005.
Oh my
He
god.
was a train wreck. No disrespect to train wrecks, but and that's exactly what it is. He came on too strong. He wasn't about me. He was, oh, that's another. You know what? Marketing lessons from Karen's bad dates. So this guy was all about himself, right? And his very inappropriate and horrific views, right? And he felt free to share those with me, which in email marketing, you are. You're
Oh,
free to
before I
share
do
your
this.
views. You're free to build your community around whatever it is you believe.
True.
If you're spouting anti-Semitism, I would ask maybe that you don't. But anyway, he was just free to go on and just talk, and he never let me get a word in edgewise. There wasn't any type of relationship building even on that first date. And then he texted me that night, and there was no awareness that this hadn't gone well, right? You want, when you're doing email marketing or any type of marketing, you want to be building a relationship. You want to be checking in with the other person. You want to be building that relationship. And yeah, that was a fun tangent. Sorry.
No, I end up on dating tangents all of the time, no matter what I'm doing when it comes to relating to marketing, because
Accurate.
it is completely accurate, because, and also, with marketing, we are dealing with, that, of course, the everyone knows the, like, trust factor, the nurture factor, the trust factor, but also that, we're dealing with emotions in terms of, do I like this just all the things, do I enjoy being this person? So in terms of email, being able to speak right to that person. And yeah, so those are some great things we should do with our email marketing, and things that we should avoid doing. I'll probably write a book regarding dating. So
Oh my
many
gosh,
stories
Danny,
would have.
that's your unique mechanism. There you go. I might hold you to it.
It's I it's always it's incredibly accurate with marketing, and and with sales. It's but anyway, to bring us back um in terms of the particular topic at hand, in terms of email marketing, we talked a little bit about how often you should email your list. We talked about kind of the length of time of email. So I know it's not quite a bit a part of this conversation, but maybe we could have a brief conversation, since we're doing well on time, in terms of, okay, so the email welcome series. It's what did you suggest? How many emails should be there?
Well, 3 is the bare minimum that I would
Okay.
suggest, and
Yep.
7 is usually where I suggest people start. There are some brands with you wouldn't even believe the number of emails in their sequences and different, processes and flows that they have people go through, tags and segments in their list that, it makes my brain hurt, and even I love that super hyper organized kinda stuff, and even I'm like, "Ah,
Yeah.
too much."
Yeah, for those of you who have been at this for a while, of course, in terms of email marketing, you can get as fancy as the tech will bring you, which is
Mhm.
very far
Very
these
fast.
days. In terms of, I guess I'll just tease that out there. In terms of, you can do things like, if they click on, they click on a link, they get added to a different list. If they get, you can, different types of testing.
Yep.
But just put, I rented a farmhouse once from this farmer lady, and she was awesome. And we were talking about gardening, and I kind of asked her, like, because she would have these big gigantic gardens, and I asked her, like, how do you get started? She's like, start small and build on success. So
Yes.
that goes for email marketing too, in terms of, get your basics set up, get that email welcome series in place, and then you can get fancy. However, my question coming back to it was, so we have the email welcome series, and that ends. Then what?
Well, then you have to keep up with broadcast emails, and that is where you're sending just an email to your list. I recommend you do it at least once a week, twice a week if you can manage it is better. Any less often than once a week, they will start to forget who you are, and
Yeah.
you run the risk of a couple different things happening. One, the relationship just kind of, you know, they don't care so much about you anymore. They forget who you are. They could completely forget who you are and think that you're spamming them.
That's bad. They're
Yeah, and
bad.
that's bad because if your emails start getting marked as spam because people don't remember who you are, then all of the email platforms will start to throw you into the spam bucket,
Yes,
and your
it's
people won't
bad.
even be seeing your emails. It's bad.
Nope, it's very bad.
So maintaining list health is really important, and
Yes.
keeping consistent with a communication strategy with your list is really, really important. And it sucks because you don't want to just email them like, oh, I'm launching. I'll send you 57 emails in the next 4 days. Okay, you're not going to hear anything from me again for 2 months until I'm launching again. Nobody likes that. We're building a relationship. Relationships require consistency and input. So at least once a week is what I recommend.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. So actually coming back to the welcome series. So I get emails that are short. I get emails that are super long. I get graphicy things. Like, what about the length of the emails that you send in the welcome, you can feel free to talk about in the welcome series and in that follow-up series, that nurture series, whatever you want to call it. But, like, how long should emails be?
How long is a piece of string, right? It needs to be however long it needs to be to get the job done.
Okay.
So, I just did a launch campaign for a client and I had an email that I think was 23 words, right? I
Yeah.
wrote an email to my list this morning that ended up being 843 words.
Okay.
right? That got a little bit long. That should have been a blog post, but I was inspired and on I went. So it really just needs to be how long it needs to be to get the job done. If
Okay.
you are using good copywriting best practices, if you are telling a story that your people are interested in, if you're making it relatable, if it's building that relationship, people will read it. And if they are not going to read all the way through, they'll skim it. So there's techniques you can use to bold or highlight or italicize certain text to bring people's attention down the page. And
Yeah.
it really doesn't matter how long the email is. I would like to make a special note. You mentioned graphics.
Yeah.
I don't like graphics in emails.
Okay.
And I don't know that you and I have ever talked about this. So, my personal belief is you want an email that you send to your list to be as close to an email that you would receive from a friend as possible, right?
Okay.
Your friend probably doesn't have a graphic at the head of their website or their emails that they're sending out. They probably aren't going to have a carousel of 15 different products that they're selling. They may
Yeah.
have a cute little signature down at the bottom with their name and, some links to whatever it is that, their business or their
Hmm.
LinkedIn or their Facebook page. But predominantly, it's going to be text based. And when you are trying to create this type of deep relationship with your email subscribers and building that know, like, trust, and joy factor, having those text only emails is a really important part of doing that.
That's a really good point. And no, it's not a conversation that we've ever had
Okay.
because I would have questioned everything that I do before this moment on the StreamYard. No, that's correct. My mom has never sent me a graphic in email. She sent me other things. But hi,
Oh,
mom. She watches the stream.
oh, hi, Danny's
Hi,
mom.
mom. But she has not sent me, yeah, a graphic. That is a really good point. Well, we've covered quite a good get a really good foundation of like what a welcome series is, what should be in it, how many emails, what should the content, what should the kind of structure of each email be, and of course go to your lead magnet to get the exact
Yep,
formula in terms of so you can just plug and play in terms of having it helps so much. It helps so
so
much to have a
much.
direction to get started.
Yeah.
And then in how often we should email list, what should be in there, consider your use of graphics or not. And also I know we talked a little bit about what should happen and just people are like, well, what happens now? And when you're ready, then we go into that nurture sequence. Is there anything else in regards to our why we need an email welcome series for your business that we've left out?
No, it's the least expensive, easiest, best way to build that relationship. And again, because it is so important, you own your email list. It is an asset that really does have value. It's not one of those things like, oh, it's an asset. It has value if you're ever looking to, as you know,
Yep.
sell a business, right?
Yep.
That email list, I'm sure, is a huge part of the valuation of any business if you're looking to move on from it and pass it on to somebody else.
It's true.
And
Very
it
true.
just, you own it and you control it and you have it at the ready whenever you want. I can't remember who it was that used to say, oh, I can't remember the man's name, but it was a gentleman. And his big thing was always, oh, I wanted to get a new motorcycle. So I just sent an email to the list. Like, I wanted a new
Yep.
motorcycle. So, hey, list, buy my stuff, right? And you can do that. If you have an email list, if you built up that relationship, and it doesn't have to be, I want to buy a motorcycle, buy my stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, I was out cruising the other day, driving by the ocean, and I saw a whale out there. And you know what it made me think? That whale just made me think about blah, 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 blah. And you know what made me realize that this was the problem to this? Like, you just come up with these stories
Oh,
and you connect and money happens. And magic, email
did you
list.
really see it? You see, you're able to see whales.
Oh gosh, no, I'm making stuff up off the top of my head.
Okay. I'm like,
Let this be a lesson. I'm very good behind my computer screen, not talking to people on the internet, like talking live and writing words, but don't ever
I'm
anything that
already
just
taking.
anything extemporaneous, no, like that.
Oh no, for some reason I'm like I'm always captivated and taken. I'm always taken with your story. So I'm like where were you? Yeah, well, that's very cool. So Go ahead, my friends, and hop on to Karen's website, get her freebie, and I'll also drop it in the comments. And of course, to connect with me. And I just realized in terms of the stream, I forgot to introduce myself like I usually do. I need to make a post-it note for that. Professional here, everyone. So I'm Danny Whitestone, and I founded the Women's Small Business and Leadership Network. And you are just watching this broadcast because I am completely dedicated to helping people grow their businesses and not make the early mistakes I do, because you don't need to, because we've already made them. Like, connect with us, learn. And and this is just part of one of the wonderful ways that we help people grow their businesses. And Karen, thank you so much for coming on and in giving of all your wisdom and the thousands of hours of studying in email copywriting and marketing that is in your head, and spending 30 minutes to gift that to us. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for everything you have done. Seriously, Danny is amazing. I barely have words to say how much she
Oh,
has changed my business and my life, and she is wonderful. And y'all are in great hands if you're listening to what she has to share with you.
oh, thank you so much.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
everyone who joined us on the stream, and for joining in and listening. And we will see you next time. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.